So here we are, once again in London with the Stop Lloyd's, Stop Fossil Fuels action in the background. And I'm proud to have a short interview here with my friend and colleague who 2 days ago spent a few hours in the Brixton Hooskow, smiling about it. Real proud, courageous woman.
No, we're never proud of getting arrested, we're not.
Well, what do you mean?
I mean, we're not making a big deal of being arrested. We're not kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't think we should make it like a thing to be proud of, basically. It's never the ultimate goal, basically. We just want, our voices to be heard. We want the government to act. We want companies like Lloyd's of London to stop literally, killing us all around the planet, funding, climate destruction. So if it means getting arrested, then that's what we're doing. But getting arrested is not an end in itself.
Yes.
That's the way we get about getting the word out, if that makes sense.
Absolutely, yes. I just want to note here that you're proudly wearing a TMX Out
Yes, I am.
badge, and I know we spoke earlier of your support for that movement.
Of course,
and
yeah. Big up to all the people who are fighting the exploitation of our natural, beauty, the exploitation of people, the destruction of their habitat, the destruction of their livelihood. Anyone who's doing anything around trying to fight this, really deserves massive kudos. I wish everyone was doing that, and it wasn't a minority of people who cared and actually did that. And yeah, I'm sending solidarity from all around the other side of the pond, basically. With all the fighters.
Well, you're really somebody who walks the talk. As I mentioned a couple of days ago, you had some involvement. And today, tell me about today.
Yeah, so today basically we arrived very early, around 7 in the morning, and we blocked all the entrances to Lloyd's of London before the staff, the traders mainly, would come in. So the point was to basically disrupt their working day and make sure that they wouldn't spend another day betting on people's life and making the world more miserable by continuing to insure awful projects like the TMX, for example. So yeah, we successfully took all the entrances. Some of us were glued on, some of us were chained, and there were a few bandit drops as well, because Lloyd's of London, the building has quite an interesting architecture. And yeah, so effectively after a few hours, Lloyd's told their employees that they would need to go home, that there was no point anyone coming in for the day. So that's something we have achieved today, basically.
Yeah, well, that's got to be disappointing, huh?
Yeah, well, that my ultimate goal would be for companies like Lloyd's not even to exist. We're far from there. Lloyd's is just like one of the examples of the many examples of a system, a whole system that is, literally, again, I keep repeating that, but that's really my thing, exploiting people and planet. Literally, driving us to a certain death, but not without a lot of suffering first as well. Disproportionate effect on indigenous communities, on poor and vulnerable people first, before it actually gets to the privileged people like me. And this is driving me mad. I think Lloyd's is just like one of the best known example of this, but there are countless others. The amount of money, of dirty money that transits through the city of London. I believe that I was talking to someone earlier who was saying I think it's 15% of the global emissions are kind of, they are basically being produced by the city of London, not like directly, but they are financing basically 15% of the total emission. We are just talking about a square mile. That's what we're talking about here, City of London. And Lloyd's is also a good example of what they're doing now with their money is they also funded colonization at the time. So it's the whole history of that company. And again, I think they are a good reflection on what this country, the UK, has done to the rest of the world, basically as an empire, how he has destroyed the life of others, it has deprived people of their sovereignty, of their land, of their livelihood, they have literally put them into slavery. They have been exploiting everyone, and now they just do that. I would call that colonialism now, and they're just doing that with money now. So they're not using slaves in the same sense as they were at some point, but the result is the same. People are still suffering, people are still dying. There are lives that are worth more than others, and Lloyd's of London is responsible for this. But again, it's just an example of so many more, just a representation of what our governments in the global north are doing.
Well, I want to thank you, and I want to let you know that your voice will be heard outside of the square today, and hopefully this little interview will find its way to people who've been struggling against the Trans Mountain Pipeline.
So.
I'm very sure of it, people who've gone to jail. So thank you for your courage. Thank you on behalf of the Squamish, Wet'suwet'en, and Musqueam people whose land this pipeline passes over.
Thank you. And
thank you very much.
Big love and solidarity to all the fighters around the world, those who can't do what I do today. We see you, we hear you, and we're there for you, and we'll continue fighting. Your freedom is our freedom, and we won't let go, we won't give up.
Thank you very much. Brave words from a brave woman.